September 27th, 1989, a spaceship allegedly lands in a park in Soviet Russia. Witnesses? Dozens of kids, a few adults, and a cop. Inside the craft, a 9-foot-tall being with 3 eyes, and a robot. This isn't folklore. It was covered by official Soviet news agencies, and today, we're going to dive into one of the strangest state-confirmed UFO landings of all time. It's the Voronezh Incident. Next up on Mostly True Alien Stories.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about factors of unknown objects.
In Mexico, pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
Welcome back to Mostly True Alien Stories. It's the show where we put alien encounters on trial and try to figure out if they're, well, mostly true. I'm Neal Girandola, believer of all things alien, and I'm joined, as always, by my skeptical, always on alert co-host, Andrew Triana. Hi,
Hey,
Andrew.
Neal. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm excited because this week we are headed to the USSR.
Back in the USSR.
Yes.
That's
In 1989, too, even. We're going back to the 80s, baby.
Dude,
and we're
that's
going to
Gorbachev.
investigate a story, Andrew, that is so bizarre. It shook Russian scientists, apparently. It shook up the school kids, and the Soviet press got involved in this. And before we land the ship, we want to make sure you guys subscribe, okay? So drop a review and share this episode with your favorite alien neighbor. You know you have one. Go look at them. They're there. They're all aliens. All right. If you're new to this show, here's how it works. I will share a true alien report, and then Andrew and I are going to weigh in on whether we think this is a mostly true alien story or not. Andrew, are you ready to get into the Voronezh story? I could tell when you whisper. Ready? It started like any other autumn afternoon in Voronezh, a quiet industrial city about 300 miles south of Moscow. Okay? Kids were playing soccer in a public park near Mendeleev Street when around 6:30 p.m. the game came to a sudden stop and a strange pink light appeared in the sky. Then came a deep humming noise, a descending column of light, and finally a red disc-shaped craft reportedly over 50 feet wide. And it landed in front of this entire stunned group of kids and some other people. So what happened next is pretty surreal. So, and detailed. They got into some details. It was a well-documented UFO case that was publicly acknowledged by a national government, by the way. This is the first one that we've talked about that a national government has acknowledged it.
Right.
Excuse me. I've got some Russian phlegm coming up in my...
You need to have the clearing of the vodka here. I drink for you right now, vodka.
Oh, yeah. All right. So from this red craft emerged 3 figures. One was a towering humanoid. It was around 9 feet tall with 3 eyes, wearing a shiny silver suit and boots. And alongside it was a robotic companion described as boxy, metallic, and nearly featureless. So a boxy robot. It's like a box of a robot.
It's a female robot, and its name is Roxy.
So it's a hot box. It's a hot box robot.
Hot box robot.
Okay, I got you. All right. And witnesses claimed a second being briefly appeared holding a kind of tube or wand, which was then pointed at a bystander, causing the boy to vanish and then only to reappear minutes later, visibly shaken.
Was it David Blaine? I think it was David Blaine.
It was definitely David Blaine.
It was early on. He was a teenager. It was early on in his career.
Yeah,
he was
he
trying
did Russian
Russia
street
out.
magic.
Yeah, of course.
I got it.
Or not.
I make boys disappear.
Watch me as I pull out my wand. The boys run away. And sometimes the girls too.
All right, so we got David Blaine. We've got a hot box robot. We've got
Roxy. Yeah.
Roxy. Yep. We got, all right. So all this stuff is happening on the streets of Russia right now. And so dozens of children, they witnessed this event. And then so did several adults, including a local police officer and 2 teachers. Most children, they did drawings, and all of their drawings matched. A 3-eyed being, a red sphere, and a hulking craft with a hatch that opened vertically like a sci-fi garage door. The case was initially reported by TASS, the official Soviet news agency, a nearly unprecedented move. by the way, because Russia,
Right.
that's just, they just don't talk about that stuff. And then Soviet physicists and military officials were sent to investigate the site, and soil samples were taken. Radiation levels were measured, and according to reports, spiked levels of cesium-23 and other isotopes were detected near the landing site. And eyewitnesses also described a distorted gravity field near the craft, making it difficult to move as they normally would. There was crushed vegetation in a perfect circle, as if something heavy had indeed landed, and lingering light phenomena in the days that followed. Glowing spheres seen in the sky and near the woods at night in that area. The government didn't deny it, by the way. In fact, it leaned in, and a lead scientist from the Soviet Academy of Sciences, Dr. Vyacheslav Zaitsev.
He's going to be on the show later, I heard.
I can't wait. You know what?
Yeah.
I better brush up on my Russian. This guy even went on television to confirm that something had occurred there. He was quoted as saying, "This case has no rational explanation by our current scientific models." Naturally, the Western press ran with it. Newspapers like the New York Times and the Washington Post, they covered the story, with a little bit of a smirk to it in their articles.
These Russians are crazy. UFOs landing in a park? What are
that's
you
ex-
talking about?
They had
That's
Charles
exactly
Nelson
right.
Riley was like, ah!
Yeah. They actually did. They chalked it up to Cold War sensationalism.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
Soviet propaganda. But even skeptics couldn't ignore one fact. The government was standing by the story. So over the next few weeks, Voronezh became a hotspot for UFO enthusiasts, as you would think. Journalists and researchers, they all flocked to the landing site. And of course, the landing site was fenced off. Kids who saw the beings were interviewed repeatedly, and in most cases, never changed their accounts, by the way. There were no signs of hysteria or fabrication, just sort of this confused, vivid recollections from wide-eyed kids and these startled adults. And then it went silent, right? And then they weren't talking about it. And then by the early 1990, the incident was no longer being discussed. So less than a year later, not even in the Soviet media, and no further reports were issued. The park did reopen eventually, and the investigation files were locked away. And to this day, no official debunking has ever been published by the Russian government. So, the question always is, what really landed in Voronezh that day? What really happened? Is it a psychological experiment? Could have it been a Cold War fear tactic? Or was it truly an alien encounter? Andrew, we got Soviet kids drawing the same three-eyed giant with a silver suit and a floating orb. And you have the scientists, you have the KGB involved, you have the state news not only confirming the event, but publishing the details. I'm going to hand this over to you. That's our report, Andrew, and I'd like to know if you think this is a mostly true story or not.
Well, I've spent the last couple weeks in Russia.
You really?
I went over to Russia to do research on this. I was so excited about this story because, I speak fluent Russian. So it was fantastic to go over there and talk to the people.
You do not speak fluent Russian. Everyone, listeners, he does not speak fluent Russian.
I don't.
I wouldn't put it past
pathological
him.
Liar.
I wouldn't put it past you to go to Russia, though. For this
I went
story.
to Russia. Yeah, that's where I've been. That's why the show has been kind of delayed for a little bit. This is a big story.
You're really committed to mostly true alien stories, and that's what I like about you.
Okay, so I started doing some research. So what I found fascinating about this is that most UFO appearances, right, at least the ones that we've talked about, have always happened at night. You notice that? Everything usually happens at night. Daytime,
let's
daytime
think about
abductions.
Let me think about that.
Yeah.
At night, usually, the
At
ones
least
we
after
talked
sunset.
about. Yeah, I guess the ones we talked about, I'm just trying to think. There's nothing really doing.
The one in Africa,
was
Pascagoula was at night. They were fishing at night. Yeah,
I guess
floating
a lot
Linda out the window was at night.
Linda was at night. Yeah.
The Barney Hill,
that was at night.
They were in the evening as well. So most of these things happen at night. Kentucky at night.
Yes.
So we're seeing a pattern here that's different than anything else. This is literally at 6:45.
Wait. Ariel's school was during the day.
That was the only one in Africa, right? That was one that was during.
That
the
was
day.
a big one.
Yeah, I know. like 20 some kids
So,
saw it.
of the ones we've talked about, and we're looking into more stories, you're right. The majority of them happens at night. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I
So
want to
this
know. I want to
happens-
see where you're going with this.
Okay, so this is what I found interesting about this story was that it wasn't your usual, he got me at night, it was 11 o'clock, I was
Right.
outside, they grabbed
Yeah.
me and they probed me and then they brought me back and I fell in love with
Yeah.
a cow and we're living together forever now, 25 years. So
Huh.
it's none of that. It's all like prime time. This is like prime park time in
Sure.
Russia, right? So they describe the orb as being like over 30 feet. I don't know what that would be in meters. What is that? 300 meters, right? Isn't it 3 feet?
I don't talk meters. So
Yeah, we
30
don't-
feet, you nailed it for me. When you
30
mention
feet.
feet, I know exactly the size.
30 feet. And the
The
skies,
orb, wait, what? The
the
orb
orb,
that
the thing
the
that
ship.
landed was
Yeah.
30 feet. Right.
they're saying only 30 feet?
Yeah. Only 30 feet.
That's not big.
That's pretty good size. Well, this was when it starts appearing. They didn't describe how big it was once it got there. So when
Okay.
it first appeared and started floating, the sky was pink and then the sky turned red, which I found, wow, that sounds like sunset, but you don't really see a lot of pinks. You see mostly orange and red with sunset, right? Pink first, then red. It hovered, it came down, and that's when the first figure appeared, right? You said he was like 9 feet tall. They
Yeah.
described him as having a tiny head, basically no neck, with 3 eyes, right? You mentioned that, 2 white, 1 red. He was
3 eye.
wearing-
Yeah, he's a three eye
Yeah.
guy.
He was in silver overalls. That's what I found. Not a silver suit, but silver overalls, which I
You
thought
know
was
what? He
quite
may have been
fascinating.
trying to assimilate himself with the people. He might probably is like, they'll never know we're aliens if I wear silver overalls.
Right.
Yeah.
I will look like regular Russian worker.
So, okay,
Maybe he should have put sunglasses on
goggles.
so it
He
didn't
coulda
show
hooted.
3 eyes.
Doesn't say that they spoke or anything. Okay, so the next thing is, right, the hatch opens, the stairs come down, right?
Yeah.
He comes out. You said the little box comes out, right? He bent down and pushed a button on the box.
Okay.
Boop. And then all these arms, 2 arms, 2 legs came out and the box started to move.
The
I
hot
saw
box.
that.
Hot box robot.
Roxy, the
hot box robot.
Yeah.
She's like, it's my time to shine.
She was like, this is time for some alien seduction. So, right? So the box started walking out down the stairs on the
Imagine seeing that though. This box of the arms come out and then it just starts walking. This is 1989, so these robots,
How do you think it? Do you think it like?
Oh yeah, it's probably like.
She was grooving. Roxy was grooving down the
I would
stairs.
think though they probably made that robot and they're just like, maybe we shouldn't have made it a box.
Right. We should have made it look more humanoid.
Yeah.
Okay. So
'Cause
it
people are
starts
making
walking.
fun of him. People are
right?
making fun of our robot.
Kids start screaming.
Imagine. I imagine I would start screaming.
Then the ship vanished. The ship vanished.
Oh, but the aliens are still there.
No, they vanished, and
they
then
left
they
too.
reappear.
They reappeared.
They reappear, but this time, another guy that you talked about holding a
Wait, are you
tube-
thinking? Wait, let me interrupt.
Okay.
Are you thinking that when when they vanished, they had like a cloaking thing that may have happened?
Might
The
have
robot
been.
created like, oh, oops, we forgot to hit the cloaking thing. We were going to
Right.
land and check people out, but they can see us. Obviously, they can see us. So
Hey,
let's disappear.
Bill, they can see us. What do you mean they can see us? Roxy, can they see us? They can
I think they can see us. They're
I was
screaming.
walking and they're screaming, please hit the
They're
button.
pointing and screaming at us. I think they can see us.
They see us, right? So then they disappear, right? But then they reappear.
Okay. I think the cloaking thing was broken. I think it was glitchy. I think that's what's happening here.
There was a loose connection, maybe.
Yeah. Then somebody had hitting the wire, the switch, something happened. They had a new guy on the ship.
Hey, Ernie, yeah,
What the
can you
shit?
fix this, please? They can see us.
They can see us.
You can see me, right? He's right behind me, right? He's right
All right.
there.
All right. So
Okay.
they disappear. Then
Okay,
they
so
reappear.
they disappear. They reappear. Now the
Yeah.
guy comes down the stairs and he's holding that tube that looks like a gun.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this
the
new
David Blaine alien.
the David Blaine appears holding his tube and he's looking at the crowd. Another kid sees him, starts screaming. He points the tube at the kid and
Yeah.
the kid, boop,
And he goes, abracadabra,
Disappeared.
kid's gone.
now everybody starts screaming.
Yeah. I would be like, Jimmy!
So then The orb disappears again, and the kid appears.
Okay.
So as soon as the orb disappeared, the kid reappeared. So
yeah, there was definitely a glitch on the ship.
yeah, I think the cloaking tube, we can call that David Blaine's cloaking tube,
Yeah.
made the kid cloak too. Okay.
Right.
So news spread, right? Everybody started talking about this. Everybody was like freaking out, right? You talked about them bringing scientists and they found elevated radiation in that area and all that stuff happening there at that time.
Yeah.
Now, the first story said that only kids saw the spaceship. No adults saw the spaceship. Then later, the story talks about adults seeing the spaceship as well. So this is where it got a little, maybe it was lost in translation.
All right. So you're saying, wait, early reports were just the kids saw it.
Just the kids were the only ones that
said,
saw it.
Okay.
And then later, that's when you got the police officer. And, they were think about it. They were very selective on who they chose. They chose 2 teachers, right? So 2 smart people and a police officer, someone that has credibility.
Oh, you're thinking they chose them they didn't come forward. Okay, go ahead. No, you're giving away what you're going to say.
It's Russia. No. I'm just saying that these were the people that later came forward. The kids came forward, and said, yeah, we saw it. And then they all drew the same thing.
I saw pictures of the kids that came forward. They like had,
yeah. Oh yeah, there was 4 kids. There were 4 kids
that
came over. One kid was Vladimir. I remember his name was Vladimir.
Vladimir.
Right,
I mean, what's the odds? What's the odds of a kid named Vladimir in Russia?
In Russia?
Not like
Yusuf?
Kurt or Steve
or Mikhail. Nah, those aren't very common Russian names. They needed names like Eddie and Tony.
Jimmy.
Tony. You don't meet many Russians named Tony.
No
fucking Tonys, right?
Hey, how you doing?
Now,
There's an alien.
There was this fucking alien. He was flying the ship. He had a tube. He looked like David Blaine. You know David Blaine, right? Did a fucking show. Everybody disappeared. They reappeared. Everybody was clapping and cheering.
I love it here.
And they brought out this Hotbox. Her name was Roxy. Oh my God, it was a great fucking show. You should have been there. You should have fucking been there. I feel like Pesci now, almost.
I know. Can you do the Tony accent, but add in some Russian, a little Russian accent?
No.
I think it's hard.
It's hard. That will be hard. I got to work on that one. Maybe next show. Next show.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is what's cool. Okay. We got basically what happened with the story, right? But as I dug deeper, there were more things that were happening in Russia between August 1989 and January 1990. A ton of stuff.
What do you mean more
happening.
things? Like more like
more
UFO?
Appearances.
Oh,
more appearances of this same orb. Okay, so
same orb,
same floating orb with the same large alien with the tube.
Over a year?
No, this is just within 6 months, between August 1989 and 1990.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I
on
didn't
October
hear this.
2nd,
Okay.
on October 2nd, 1989, at a train station located near Voronezh, about 30 miles away from Voronezh. On October 2nd, 1989, 40 people saw a red orb at a train station. They also said that they saw a 10-foot humanoid inside the red orb, and it looked out. It had its tube. It looked out. It looked around, and then it disappeared again.
So the same kind of sightings, but did the TASS and did the government, did they comment on this, or where were these reports being brought up?
I guess they appeared in Soviet newspapers and stuff. People were still talking about it because remember, this was hot news. And like you said, after 1990, nobody talked about it anymore.
Right.
But I think this was to help solidify the story, right? Because there were more appearances. So this happened early on and then later in October, right? I found this interesting too. As early as June 19th, 1989, near St. Petersburg, 2 women were on a train platform. They were talking, and they saw a ship that looked like a giant red orb with a tall figure inside. Just one figure looking out.
That's very interesting.
It started in June. It went all the way through the end of the year into January of 1990, and then there were no more appearances of anything.
How many appearances are we talking about then? 3, 4, 5?
We're talking probably 5 or 6. I found 3 other than the park. Okay.
Right. Okay. But the park was first, or were these were
the first one was June 19th, right? And the date for the park was July?
It was September.
Oh, September. Okay, so this was June. Then we had the train station in October. We had the park in September.
So there were earlier reports prior to the park, but the park was the one that was most
That had the most
sensationalized
people. Yeah, that had the
because
most
of the
people.
kids, probably.
Yeah, right. So on June 19th, 1989, it was just 2 women that saw the thing in the sky.
Mhm.
The whole wand thing, right? And
Mhm.
paralyzing, right? Or vanishing. That
There was like a wand. Was it? What was it? More of a ray gun or a wand? Was it? What do you know?
they
that
described it as a long tube,
Yeah, just a
and
tube,
he was holding it
like
in his
PVC,
hand.
like a piece of PVC from Home
Possibly,
Depot.
possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what else it could have been. He was showing it the
A
kids.
wiffle ball
That's
bat.
all I
It's
know.
like a wiffle ball bat. That's what I would carry. If I was an alien, I'd carry a wiffle ball bat with me, and people would be like, "No, he was an alien with a wiffle ball bat. I saw him. He carries a wiffle ball bat." And then somebody else be like, "I saw an alien with a wiffle ball bat." Like that's the way you brand yourself as an alien. You just carry like an odd like wiffle ball bat, and you point it
I
at
think
people.
they forgot to describe that this alien was in a trench coat. And then he opened the trench coat and was holding this tube-like thing. They didn't know what it was because they had
And
never
then a
seen
kid-
anything like this before.
and then
Remember, everything is, I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like
Mhm.
this before.
Yeah, and kids disappeared inside his trench coat,
Yes.
and then they reappeared. You're awful. All right,
And then
so
they
go
had
on.
a doll. They were like, show me on the doll where the bad alien touched you. He was here and here. No, tell me, describe to me. I want to know. Where did the alien touch you? Show me on the doll. Okay.
Kids, stay away from the bad aliens.
The ones in trench coats, don't trust any alien in a
It's
trench
not
coat.
an alien. That
They're
is
not
not
an
an
alien.
alien.
So here's something cool. In my research, in 1965 in France.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going back from 1989. You're going back to 1965.
to 65 to talk about the tube and the people paralyzed and vanishing.
Okay.
In 1965 in France, a farmer by the name of Maurice Masset saw gray beings
Mhm.
that were about 6 feet tall that appeared to him while he was out in the field, and they pointed a tube at him. And
Wait,
it
was this
paralyzed
in
him.
Russia?
No, this was in France
Oh, in France.
back in
Okay.
1965.
Gotcha.
He had
Yep.
the same thing happen to him, but they were different looking aliens. They were gray. They had a tube, but they had a
Yeah.
tube, and it just
It's
paralyzed
a similar
him.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also in France, Georges Gattier said him and 7 construction workers, aliens appeared to them with tubes and paralyzed them for a couple minutes, and then they disappeared. That was it.
I wonder if that was lost time, though. Like,
Yeah,
I wonder
that's
if
what I'm
they,
thinking.
you know what I mean? Some sort
Yeah.
of longer than that, but it felt like a minute or two for them.
Yeah, because they were
But
paralyzed.
I wonder what the tube thing. So maybe we should go ahead and look into that. Maybe there's
Let me
more
do a Google
tube
search
stories.
for alien tubes. I end up on the dark
I wonder.
web.
Yeah,
There's
I
this
know. I wonder
whole,
what
like,
pops up.
Whole site that's just dedicated to alien
Google
tubes.
alien tubes.
We
We'll find.
we
We'll get to the
specialize
bottom
in
of this.
alien tubes. Hi, are you interested in being paralyzed or possibly vanishing? Then check out this alien tube.
You just come out of that search like horrified. Oh my god.
I never thought I'd see anything like that. Or I've never seen anything like that before.
And my God, it's sponsored by David Blaine.
All right, so you're finding some tube stories around. All right, so
Right.
now what? What else
That's
you got?
all. That's all I got, man. It was like the government talked about it. Our U.S. government didn't start talking about it until January. So all this stuff happened in Russia from August right through the end of the year, and it wasn't picked up by U.S. media until January. So almost 5 months later, we didn't pick it up here.
Why do you think the government allowed this to be publicized like that in Russia?
Because, well, I'm not ready to weigh in yet. So
Yeah, okay. All
I
right.
just think that they wanted, they knew that something happened. That's what I think. I think they knew they must have tracked something on radar. They must have done something that they knew that they couldn't cover up because too many people saw it.
Let's talk about this specific sighting. I love
Right.
all the other stuff that you brought into it. I love the tube things got me intrigued. It wasn't a one-off. So, and it actually happened.
Right. That's why I wanted to bring it
yeah,
up. It happened earlier in 1965, but
Right.
they
And
actually perfected the tube by 1989.
Right. Well,
That was the
sort of.
research that I found too. They
Yeah,
were,
yeah. They were able to
Yeah.
make kids disappear. But earlier, they just made them lose a little time, and now they can make kids disappear with it. So they've really perfected
and
it.
paralyze them.
And paralyzed.
And paralyze them.
All right.
So
So,
it's
but
great.
we
Yeah.
have also in that same 6-month period, we had earlier sightings prior to the park story that we're talking about.
Yep.
But that was not publicized. Did those reports of the earlier sightings come out after the park?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
They had
okay.
they were talked about, but they weren't really publicized until afterwards. So it kind of
Mhm.
helped keep that story, fueling that story of they appeared in the park. You know why they appeared in the park? Because back in June they appeared at a train station and 2 ladies saw them.
Mhm.
And these were 2 women that had never met before.
Okay.
They just met for the first time on the train platform. They were like, "I'm going
What is
home.
that?
Are you
Yeah.
going home? I am going home too. This is what is that? It's
I hate my
ginormous.
life. I hate my life.
I hate my life. I hate my husband.
All right, so we talked about the past with the tube thing, and then these reports come out after this sighting. But even today, now we're seeing orbs. We're seeing more orbs, right? I haven't
Right.
heard of any red glowing orbs, but we're seeing these orbs pop up all over. So in these modern encounters, if
Right.
you will, no reports of box robot. Have been encounters with robots in the past.
Right.
The orbs for
Right.
me are kind of new. I mean, I didn't start hearing about orbs until the past year.
Right. Right. Well,
orb
we
sightings.
right. The Tic Tacs, right? The little Tic Tac.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an orb, right? It's egg shaped or it's Tic Tac
No,
shaped.
I
It's
don't
kind of
think
orby,
that.
right?
But see, that's the other thing. We need to clarify orb. Orb is an energy burst, right? It's an energy presence more of than an actual physical ship.
But it
So
might be what the ship looks like. You know what I mean? It could
well,
be
that's the other thing.
round and
But I would say more of a, I would refer to the ship now because we have the orbs are so defined these days. When people sight orbs or we see videos of orbs, it's not a ship. It is an energy presence in the sky.
or we think we don't know, right? It could be the light. It could be a light on the ship, right?
Possibly. I mean, I
Right.
think there's some scientists,
And this was a
scientific.
color changing orb. It would turn from pink to red. So they were like,
Let me look this up. Hold on. They're
In
saying
Russian.
that sightings of red orbs are a phenomenon reported worldwide,
Okay.
but their nature is often debated. So explanations range from natural phenomenon like rare auroras, not
Right.
auras, such as elves and proton.
Elves.
Well, that's what they refer to, or they refer to them as elves. Another theory suggests spiritual or paranormal causes,
Right.
interpreting them as signs of spirits or otherworldly beings. So when they refer to this as an orb, I wonder though. That's why I want. I would love a little more clarification. An orb is an energy thing. So if they're saying that they've seen an orb-like ship, I think that's more of not an energy burst. It
Right.
may be glowing red from it because of all the radiation coming off it or something. But I don't know that.
Yeah.
That
Maybe
I
you
don't
should
feel
ask
like
that-
they're saying that this is a. Let me see. So I just want to look back at this report.
Russian-
A strange pink light appears in the sky, then a deep humming noise, a descending column of light, and then finally a red disc-shaped craft is really what it says
They
in the
saw,
report.
right.
So,
Right.
and it says in my report, it says it's over 50 feet wide.
Wow.
I mean, it's 20 feet bigger, whatever.
Yeah. That's what she said.
I don't know if it's appearing as an orb or if it's appearing as a red disc-shaped craft,
Right.
but it had pink
Did
light
the-
associated with it.
Did that Russian scientist say anything about it? Or no?
No,
Not really. Okay.
I
He was
mean,
just giving credibility to the radiation and all of that. So he just came out and was like, yes, there is radiation here.
yes, there's always radiation in Russia.
The whole country is irradiated. We are mutants.
Well, it says here the search that I just brought up, Vyacheslav Zaitsev was a Russian fashion designer.
I hope they like my overalls. The
and a
overalls was what
painter
I
and a graphic artist
I
and a
designed-
theatrical costume designer.
I made the overall silver with a nice buckle and the boots, and we are going to the discotheque.
I'm not kidding. That's what it says.
Hence
So
the music.
and the overalls. He's a fashion. He's a theatrical costume designer.
Wait, so this just came in that this guy's not even a scientist?
I
There's a-
think
there
I
was-
got the wrong guy. I mean, how many Vyacheslav Zaitsevs are there in a Google search? Maybe he was putting on a show.
I have this great idea. Come, we're going to dance in a red orb with a tube. It's and overalls, and I'm going to lather oil all over my body. It's going to be so sexy.
Let me just
So
let me write scientist.
sexy.
I'm not finding him.
Maybe it was all a big fashion show.
Our fashion guy died in 2023.
The kids are going to go crazy over these new overalls. I tell you what, 1989. Welcome to the 1990s.
So now I'm getting to doubt this guy.
Well, they just made up Russian names.
Vladimir Papuya.
Well, he worked with the Soviet Academy of Sciences
Okay.
for the government,
Right.
but
But he really didn't. He was really an amazing fashion designer. He was
Yeah.
so ahead of his time.
it's turning out to be like the moon landing.
It's like he was the Tommy Hilfiger of Russia.
Vladdy, we're gonna need you to do something big.
What is it?
Vaya,
What is it? Tell me. What do I get to do?
we need you to simulate an alien landing.
I will tell you what. I will come up with the biggest man I could find, and then I will put him in silver overalls with a belt with a buckle and boots. And then beside him, listen to this, beside him, we will have a box. Not only any box, but a box you hit the button and the legs and arms pop out, and she will be so sexy.
What will you
She
name
will
the
be
robot? It needs a name. Name the robot.
Roxy.
I love it.
They
Will
will
it be a
have a
foxy
dude.
robot?
Oh, Foxy, Roxy, Boxy. Delicious.
All right. So, yeah. I mean, I could spend some more time trying to find this guy, but
The guy that doesn't exist. Okay.
the guy that doesn't
Let's
exist.
do that. Okay.
All right. So, what do we got here? I think it's time to weigh in.
I'm weighing in, baby.
Yeah. All right. So, Andrew, do you think that this is a mostly true alien story or not?
No, I don't. I think that this was some sort of Russian experiment that they were doing, some sort of maybe some craft they had developed that they leaked. It got seen. Maybe like we were talking about, the cloaking device didn't work anymore. I think that it was not a real alien experience. I think that it was flying all over Russia, checking things out, and people happened to see it. And the fact that the story changed and it was kids at first, and then it was kids and adults, and it happened to be a police officer, and it happened to be two teachers. And then they made a point to say these two women who never knew each other, complete strangers, agreed to say that they both saw the orb. A
I
little
think
much.
it's sort of like, when someone reports something that had happened, that other people see that report and then they say, "Oh, I saw that too on another night."
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
don't think that they two of them went to the police together on the day it happened. I think it just came out, and then they put it together, that we got two reports from that train station. It was two different women. I don't
Right.
think they knew.
So
I don't
wait,
think they
so
ever
when-
met.
They each got home and they were like, "Honey, you're never going to believe this. I met the sweetest lady at the train station. She was
No, I
so
don't think it was
lovely.
like that.
And by the way, I saw a red orb in the sky.
Yeah.
Good night."
Mm. Oh, and my lady friend's coming over.
Yes.
No, I don't think it was like that at all. I don't think they ever even met. I don't think those two ladies, it's just they read an article that this had happened, and they're like, I saw a red orb when I was at the train station on this day, and then somebody
June 19th.
reported, and she reported that, and then the other lady saw the same article, and she was like, hey, I saw a red orb.
But then they turned it into they both had a conversation together, because that's what the research that I had was that they both met on the platform and together that day waiting for the train.
So maybe they met on the platform, then they saw the report
Right.
separately, and then called in.
I'm going to
They
say
can do-
not mostly true.
Wait, you're saying that this is not a mostly true
Not-
alien story?
Not a true alien story. Mostly.
Do you
nothing.
think that you're not seeing this clearly because it happened in Russia? And
Yeah, I'm
or
racist
you think
against
it's
Russians.
Yeah, you're racist against Russia. Yeah.
I'm a child of the 80s, so yeah.
Yeah.
Hate Russia, Cold War, let's play chess, all that stuff.
What do you?
Bobby
Well, then, what do
Fischer.
you think the explanation for the kids is, though? Like, there was a bunch of kids. They all saw
Look,
it.
I
Then
think
they did
four
drawings.
kids. It was 4 kids because we have 4 names of 4 kids. They drew the drawing, right? But I'm telling you, it wasn't alien. It was something the Russian government was doing. It was an experiment.
So, okay, so you're thinking the government was in on it,
Yeah,
and
they
even the
did it. That's why,
scientists were
and
told to
because people,
say,
yeah, because people saw it, there was like, "Dude, there's no way to cover this one up. You guys screwed up. Take
what could
Ernie
they
and
possibly been?
kill him because the cloaking thing didn't work."
Yeah, but do you think that's what I was going to say? Do you think the disappearing stuff was made up
Yeah, yeah.
by who?
David Blaine.
No, by the kids. The kids thought they saw it disappear.
Yeah, the kids. You mean the ship disappearing or the kid
Yeah.
disappearing or both?
No, both. Like who made
They
that
just
up?
made that up. They just made
You,
it
but
up.
the government, they were saying something happened. They didn't confirm
What?
that had happened.
Right, and there was radiation there, so this could have been this could have been some sort of nuclear craft that they were testing.
And they showed
that's
up
why there
in
was
those suits
radiation
to
there?
protect themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
And what was the robot? The robot was to detect it. The robot thing was rolling out to detect it. Probably didn't stand up and walk. It probably was a robot. They're saying that they just put out and thing just rides around and like test.
Right.
For...
It could have been testing the radiation levels.
Okay. All right. So you say it's not a mostly true alien story.
Not a mostly true alien story. I think it is a true story. I think something happened that day, but I think it was the Russian government doing something, not aliens doing something.
Okay.
Because why all
All
of a
right.
sudden would it just stop? This is what I don't understand. Why stop? They went into hiding? Come on. No.
I think
the government
all right.
did something.
All right. So you say it's not a mostly true alien story.
No.
It's my turn to weigh in. I got to weigh it all out. I mean, we did have other witnesses come forward and say that they saw the orb thing happen in other places. Similar experience. I love that you brought in the whole tube thing from other encounters from years back or throughout the years. That's pretty cool. You know, and then when you have kids involved, you always say, okay, when it's one kid, you would say, okay, he's lying, he made it up, but it was multiple kids and they all drew the 4. All right, you're saying 4, but I think it's 4 that we know
Right.
of.
And
It can't be just, it's a park. They're in a
right.
park.
If they saw somebody in a radiation suit that they've never seen before,
It's
right? A silver
totally
suit.
thinking it's an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming out of this red thing that's floating in the sky.
But that's where too you're going, okay, well, what else? What if it was the government coming to test out something, to spray something, to do something, something, that material that they had that caused some radiation in the area? I don't think that in 89 they would have this floating disc thing come down.
I think that they were trying to bring back disco with a color changing orb.
I think with all of this information and the reports, it doesn't sit right with me. It's definitely not a mostly true alien story. It is something that maybe the government was testing out, but also maybe what they were creating a distraction during that time for some reason. So something political wasn't in the news or wasn't at the headlines of their papers.
Right.
Something going on. I don't know enough about politics or Russian news.
Right, but
or
if this was, I mean, if it was real propaganda to really spread fear, right, they would have kept this thing going longer than 5 months.
Yeah, they just needed that time period to really just
Explain
cause a
what
distraction.
happened. Right.
They needed a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you say it's not a mostly true alien story. I agree with you. It is not a mostly true alien story, but it was fun to go to Russia. But definitely, there was a lot of holes in this one. All right, you heard our takes, but we want to know what you guys think. Maybe you know more about the Voronezh Incident than we do. Was this a real landing or just another alien tale warped by time and fear? Maybe. Let us know in the comments and leave a rating wherever you listen and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, be kind to the aliens when they get here. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Neal.
Niet. How do you say bye in Russian?
Poka poka.
It's not poka.
Poka poka.
All right,
Poka
everyone.
poka is-
Poka.
Poka poka.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about our